Peace and blessings to all of God's children. I got a little fun, humorous story. I pray you find humor in it. Several years ago, around 4 years, matter of fact, around 2021, I had an appointment and I got up early that morning and showered and washed my hair. And yes, rosters do wash their hair. And let me say, the longer it is, you want it to dry out in the sun and the air, And I got to the bus stop going to my appointment. And when the bus driver stopped, I went up to the front door to go in. And it was a, black queen, driving the bus. She said, hold it. I don't allow nobody on my bus whose hair is long as mine. And she pulled off. And the people on the bus, the thing was so funny. I was in shock. I thought maybe she was just kidding around. I was in shock. The people on the bus, when they passed by, I'm standing at the front, the people on the bus, they was just shaking their head like, they didn't understand it. I didn't either. Now, let me say something to you. I have ridden the bus ever since I've been in Nashville now, 7, 8, 109 years, whatever it is. And I usually get along famously with the driver. I don't have no problem. Not any group of people is going to have somebody in that group, at least one, if not more, that you're not going to get along with. That's just life. And when you look like me, you can become accustomed to all types of psychological head games, whatever it is. So, but this right took me for a loop. I was trying to remember, have I ever done anything? This lady or what? But anyway, well, as I said, it was about 4 years ago. Well, during the last 4 years, I've seen her a number of times. Now, I was in North Nashville at the time, and I had an appointment over in West Nashville. Well, now I live in South Nashville, so you see, I'm slowly getting around for that. But I've seen her several times, and I never looked at her like I was angry or nothing like that. I would just, check, not stare at her, I would just check out. And she was always like, she was trying to read something, how was I feeling, I don't know, maybe I was imagining whatever it was. But anyway, a few days ago, I happened to get on a bus that she was driving, and we had a conversation. And in all due respect, she said, I remember that little incident we had a few years ago. She said, and I don't know why I did it. She said, but I just did it. I was just feeling some kind of way or some whatever it was. And before I just took off, and I thought about it later, and I had all type of anxiety about it. Because, you didn't deserve that. And it just blew me away all these years later, So it made me, I've been sitting down thinking about this before I got up here, and this shows us a lot of different things. You never, ever know what somebody's going through at a certain time. They may act outside of their character, but that one act should not be something that we just won't let go. Now, this is a problem I had as a younger man. As a younger man, I wouldn't be here this morning to talk to you. I wouldn't have physically took that out, but she would have known without a shadow of a doubt. I had ill feelings toward her. But I didn't. And it kind of, at that time, this was 4 years ago, let me know, well, whatever I'm doing, it must be working, because I've been mindful for many years that I got to calm down. I have to be more mindful of how I present myself, or how I speak to people. As a young guy, I never even considered it. I just snap on you and whatever. I don't care who it was, police, I don't care who it was. But in this situation, I had an uncle, and he used to always tell me, and it's this guy, he's my elder, good, one of the hardest working men I can remember in my life. This man went out in the field plowed mules from sun up to sundown on a little patch of land that would, for somebody else. I mean, it's a sharecropper. But he knew the stories of those who were in chattel slavery. And he had a statement that he would always use. Well, as a child, I just thought maybe that, that was the limits of his understanding of education, because, a lot of black people, they didn't have education. They had to work. They didn't have the luxury of going to education. And at least we be mindful that in this country, they didn't want black people to learn how to read and write. But he would say, if a white man has ice and a black man has ice, there are people who think the white man's ice is colder than the black man's ice. And it was one of the mind. But, to this day, here it is now, I'm almost 72 years old, and I reflect on that. What was I trying to tell me? Is there some type of mystical mind game here? And I'm going to come back to the incident with this young lady. First, let me give all praise, honor, and glory to God for giving me an opportunity for us to come full circle with this thing. And I want to make it a lesson rather than an idea of some form of loss. Things happen in life. And if you're searching for something in your character you need to make in there, you got to be patient with yourself and understand that God's time is not like our time. See, we are caught up in this rat race. We think, listen, we do not have the power to say when God is going to do something. Because if we do, we are undermining the overall majesty and completeness of God. A lot of people, myself a lot of times in my life, so I can recognize and see it takes one to know one a lot of times. A lot of people, they are, let's take a tombstone. The tombstone is going to have a year of the time you were born. It's going to be a dash, and then it's going to be a time that you die. Well, I've heard it said that the most important thing as far as life is concerned is that dash. What kind of life are you living? Or what type of rules are you under? Are you under God's rules or man's rules? All right? Now, and I've said that to say, it's fine to have preferences, but I'm going to use the young lady on the bus driver, who I said was 4 years later we come, to God be the glory. But how many of us do things without even thinking, just react? Because that was the story of my life until a few years ago. I was totally reactive. I mean, I ain't gonna wait around, nothing like that. Because for one, I thought of myself as being someone that had to get it in first. And that was something I brought up from childhood, but that's not. The fact of the matter is, as we embrace our personal development, our growth in life, the Rasta man says this: if your life isn't rough, it ain't right. And what's meant by this is that never forget, the devil can grant blessings and wishes too. And the gifts that you're getting, if you have to have anxiety, such as the young lady said, she said, after I did, I just don't know where it came from, And I said, oh man, but she did. It was now 4 years. Listen, delay does not mean denial. One more time, delay does not mean denial. I had to expand my breadth of my awareness to the point where I could see God's hand in this. And I know that maybe at that time, according to God's will and his purpose now, maybe at that time it wasn't for me to know it. Well, now I can appreciate it more, and now I'm going to incorporate it because I see that as evidence of the divine hand in my personal development. And see, to me, that's the most important thing to me. So I want to share that with you. We all got these stories like this unexplainable stuff going on, And I think it speaks to, now I don't think, I know it speaks to why we hate each other so much. It's us. I'm going to tell you, it's me. That's how it was with me. I hated that I saw in other people because I felt like some kind of way they were encroaching on me in some way or another. Now, that's the honesty I had to come to. I pray. I've searched it. I want you to research it within yourself and see how it measures up. Maybe you're one of those elite people that this doesn't comply to. That's fine. But somebody needs to hear this. Some people have to realize waiting on God is always better than waiting on some personal place or thing, one love. Remember, you are the apple of God's eye. You are the epitome. You are the apex, the crown of God's creation. Honor yourself, love yourself, respect yourself. God lives in you as you for your peace.